one way or other, those are the relationships that we need, and those are the relationships that help guide how life goes on in the future. So here we are, we're on a podcast together.
Hello and welcome to this podcast, BeyanFlomo. I am super excited to have you on the podcast, and you're joining me from Liberia
Yeah, I'm
and
joining you from Liberia.
from West Africa. So thank you so much for sparing this time, to have this conversation. And as you know, we will talk about, your story, your journey, personal finance, investing opportunities, not only just in Liberia, but across Africa, because you are a serial entrepreneur, a music executive, a philanthropist. So I hope, the audience will enjoy this conversation. So welcome again. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your story? Like, who is Beyan?
Thank you very much, Isaac. Been a quite a very long time since since we met. It's been really, really long, and I'm very excited to be on this podcast. And I say once again, congratulations for starting this wonderful journey. A
Thank you.
sense of way we can be able to share information, and then at the same time be able to power our upcoming entrepreneurs and just share much more information about investment opportunity on the continent. So thank you
Yes,
so much, and I'm grateful. So I would say being generally is
yes.
Liberian native born, and I actually run agro business, agro processing business that specifically in the areas of cassava farming. So we
Hmm.
produce gari, a value addition product called gari, which is
Hmm.
locally consumed in West Africa. So we have a full plant manufacturing factory in Bapulu County, and this is a community-led social enterprise. So this allows
Hmm.
us to partner together with the community and then being able to also raise money and also make profit. So we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to show that community partnership and community ownership is possible. So I would I would say that when we talk about locally led development and community center, development, those are the kind of approaches that we're leveraging to really try to also reimagine the whole social entrepreneur approach or model. So yeah, and I also run a nonprofit which is focusing on supporting entrepreneurs. So there's a whole lot of change of things I'm doing. I'm building businesses
Yes,
and I'm leading businesses at the same time, having a nonprofit that also support other entrepreneurs that are coming on board. And as you know, I run our parent company, which is Bevan Empire, which supports a lot of work in the music industry, in the
yes.
content creators space. So we support artists, comedians, kid makers. So we provide them resources. We also, nurture their talent and manage them at a larger stage. So if you say being, there's a
Yes.
lot more. There are many caps that I wear. So I guess
I
sometimes
know.
where how to position myself. But then in general, I would just say a young person that is very obsessed about changing the narrative of Liberia and Africa at large, and there's
Yes.
nothing that is going to stop us at that. And that's why I'm grateful to be on this podcast.
Yes, and I wanna, like just to share with the audience how we met. It's a very interesting story. You
Yeah,
and I, we were part of the African youth movement that was started, I think, by Aya Chebi. She's from
yeah,
Tunisia.
yeah,
So back
yeah,
then, I think around 2014, I was very passionate, and I'm still passionate about the development in the African continent. Um, Even though now I'm currently based in Canada, so we were connecting on, social media, Facebook. The idea is to champion and to push our respective governments, across the
sure,
African
yeah.
continent, to do more for the youth, across the different sectors. So that was it. And fast forward, I think that was in 2018.
Yeah,
probably.
2018. Yeah, that was
Yes,
around 2014, 15. We're
yes,
pretty much just talking online, and then
yes.
18, then we actually started engaging until I bumped into you at the Opportunity Collaborations.
So the story
Yeah,
goes like this. So
yeah,
we had the opportunity for collaboration. It's a very interesting and very high profile conference, and it was actually held in Cancun, Mexico. So I was there participating, and I saw on the name text your name. I'm like, this name is familiar. Then I wrote,
yeah.
because there were these cardboard,
Bugs, messaging bugs.
yes,
Yeah,
messaging box, and
yeah,
then I say, hello, this is Isaac. Please, I wanna meet you. And then I gave him, I left a note of where and how we could possibly meet. So that's how we then met in person. So
yeah,
it was really surreal to say, this friendship that had started online and now actually meeting this person
yeah,
because
yeah.
I, admired you. I still admire the work that you do. So actually meeting you in person was very magical. So we then met in Mexico. So I hope probably when I visit Liberia to then also, visit you and see some of the work that you are doing. So that's how we met. So now you are running multiple enterprises, and to an extent, the narrative, from what I've seen, I was born in Zimbabwe, is that um, there are a lot of challenges, to run businesses in not just in Zimbabwe, but across the African continent and even globally. So, before I go to the challenges, what are the opportunities that you see in the agricultural sector that you mentioned currently in Liberia and the
So,
continent?
I would say to you, and just even before I answer before I move to that question, like you have a really very strong sense of humor and a strong retentive
Thank you.
memory. Because I remember when we met, like I was like, "Where's this guy? Is this guy we're just talking on a line? And how did he even get here?" But yeah, but this is just for me. I think it's just fundamentally a way to say that relationships with bills are very important because one way or other, those are the relationships that we need, and those are the relationships that help guide how life goes on in the future. So here we are, we're on a podcast together once again, trying to
Yes.
talk about our different work that we're doing, and also just think about what can be done on the continent generally. I will tell you, the agro sector has so much opportunity for young
Yes.
Africans and people even outside of Africa to benefit from. And I will tell you from experience, when you see Africa, you see a continent that is full of a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources, but those resources most of the time are left unharnessed. So
Mm-hmm.
those opportunities are not harnessed. So how do we harness those opportunities? How do we? I remember at that time that we had this. If you remember vividly, there was a particular team at the
Yes.
African Union called Harnessing Africa's Youth Potential or something like that.
Yes.
So it's really about we import most of everything we eat. Look at
Yeah.
Liberia. We import rice all the way from India, and
It's unbelievable, eh?
this importation that we're making, we're not benefiting on the line of the trade.
Yes.
There's a whole trade, there's a whole chain. So
Mm-hmm.
there should be people benefiting even before the trade is completed. But
Yes.
in Africa, most of the time before, it's now that most of the things are changing, but before we will literally import
Mm-hmm. Net
tomatoes,
importers.
tomatoes that we grow here. We import them, and
And if the
importing this
land.
tomato will be lost at the value chain because someone and guess what? The tomato we grow it here. The people take it from here and
Yes.
take it back there, or probably a company from Europe come to Africa, harvest it in large consignment, send it to Europe,
Mm-hmm.
process it, bring it back, and sell it to us. So we lost at every point of the value chain. We lost even from the moment the crop is being harvested, we don't benefit a lot. Our government lost a lot in terms of taxes. And
Mm-hmm.
then it goes all the way there. We don't benefit from the tariffs and everything. And then it comes back to us. The only thing we get to benefit from is input details. So those
Mm-hmm.
are just the small import taxes that we benefit. But we forget that there's a whole lot on the chain that we've missed out. So agriculture in itself and agro business in general, there
Mm-hmm.
are different stations during the course of the value chain that we all can benefit from. And the opportunity comes from the value addition. The opportunity comes from just preservation of the crops. Opportunities are there for just storage. And opportunities are also there from just farming, the crops. And even I would say serving as an aggregator, as an aggregate. So you see that we're doing cassava right now.
Yes.
We're harvesting. We're not planning. We don't have our own farms. We have a massive factory. What we're doing is we're empowering the community to say, look, you have been farming this cassava, processing it. Now we want to take everything away from you. Just farm it. This allows you to do large amount of cassava farm, and then we will come there and cover the transportation cost, and then pay you the value of that cassava and bring it to our factory.
Wonderful.
So you see, just after that process, they get to produce in large quantity, but then they get very low or less operational costs because no one is not transporting it to us again. They are only producing and harvesting. That's it. And then we are transporting, we are processing, and then
packaging.
So you see, if all of those processes happen just within Africa or in Liberia now, see how much is being left at the value chain. So the farmers get to benefit, the transporters get to benefit, there's job opportunities created along the line, and then the people that are at the factory also have jobs, and then the sales and distribution folks are having jobs. When they put a land to Monrovia, then you have something called warehousing. So whoever that has the warehouse is also benefiting because at least they are able to build a warehouse that I can buy or I can rent to store my product while I do things. So there's a lot of opportunity on the agricultural agricultural sector, but it's just about how do we see it, right? A lot of things imported. How do we think about? Let us not import, but let us try to see how we can bridge that value gap and produce these things locally so that we can consume. So if Zimbabwe is producing something, for example, and Liberia is producing something, we're able to have cross exchange of product, and that allows us to all benefit.
Intertrade,
we're able, that intertrade, we're able to benefit from there. But imagine if just one section of the of a population is manufacturing everything that an entire country consumes.
Yes.
You literally can have monopoly and you can decide what to do with it. So in North, I would say that there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity for value addition. There's a lot of opportunity to empower even local entrepreneurs on the ground. You just think about how people can build that partnership and build that nuance to really boost the agriculture sector.
This is fantastic. And a lot of people mostly who reach out to me from the African continent and also Zimbabwe specifically, they tell me like, okay, it's very hard to start a business. Tell me in this case, like how did you start your business? Like, did you get some funding? Because I tell people to say it's not easy anyway, because starting a business with competition it's very complicated. So tell us a little bit more about I get the sense that it's a lucrative business, right? But in addition, you're creating employment, you are also value adding and contributing to the Liberian economy.
I will tell you, there's something that a Nevada CEO, I think it's Nevada or something, but this guy actually posted Fred, the owner of AWA, I think ALA,
okay,
the African Leadership Academy.
Okay, so that's Fred Swaniga, right?
Yes. So there's something I'm trying to actually get it. But maybe later I'll try to find it and put it right.
Yes.
But what he was, in essence, what he was trying to say is that pain, suffering, frustration is not something that you learn.
Yes.
It's not something people teach you.
Yes.
And I buy 100% in that value. And I have my own, maybe at that time I didn't even, before I even watched what Fred posted.
Yes.
My philosophy about life has been embrace pain, and get married to disappointment. That's why I always tell you and disappointment have to be best of friends.
Yes.
Because when you are best of friends, the term friendship is
Yes.
when both of you know your strength, your weakness,
Yes. Yes.
and know when you are at your higher level and when you are at your lowest level.
Yes.
So build friendship with disappointment, because if you don't, he will always feel like he owns you and he will always
Yes.
disappoint you.
Yes.
But when he sees that every time he disappoints you, you are smiling. He disappoints you, you are smiling. You're like, what? I think I need to stop disappointing this guy because he's not even working. So
Yes.
it's a thing about it's the thing about entrepreneurial journey. Like there's nobody that's gonna come knocking your door to give you the first capital. No one is gonna say this is a great idea. I want to give you the capital. No.
Yeah.
No one is gonna say, I love you so much. I'm gonna give
Yes.
you the first capital. No.
Yeah.
All this journey, as you know, people think I actually grew up from the city. No, I was born in a rural area. And when I was born in rural Liberia, my parents, I'm like a first generation child, gone to
Yes.
university, first in everything, first university, first to travel, first to
Mm-hmm.
do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of siblings I have to take care of. Then
Mm-hmm.
I realized that the only thing that could make our life better is one person in the family needed to step out of their comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and in you pain to be able to build something that the rest of the family can benefit from. So I
Mm.
came to Monrovia, and just as an
That is the
innocent,
capital of Liberia, right?
yeah, the capital of Liberia. So I was going through a lot. No father, no mother, no food to eat, no good proper meal, no
Mm.
good clothing. I was wearing tuna trousers all here and there,
Mm.
busted shoes, and I always had this mind that things will get better. And that's how I started my
Mm.
nonprofit. So we're like 10 years or 11 years now.
Yes.
So kept pushing, kept pushing, kept pushing. I think through that, that was through that process that we got connected. So
Yes.
kept pushing. And then
Yes.
we were able to at least move from where we are to now being one of the prominent organization in the country. And
Yes.
then
Congratulations and well done.
even with that, I decided to say, look, I need to do business because I love
Yes.
the nonprofit world. I like everything I'm doing. I want to empower people,
Yes.
but you can empower people when you don't have it for yourself. So we
Yes.
needed to build a business that financed the work that I am passionate about, which is
Yes.
entrepreneurship, youth development. I didn't want to work to every little meeting and asking for funding every day. I wanted to be able to
Yes.
sit and say, today I want to train 10,000 young people and there's a funding for it, right? Like you
Mm.
see what Tony Illumino does. No one is
Yes.
questioning, right? He's doing it
Yes.
because there's
Yes.
something
The
he's supporting.
resources financially.
Yeah, yeah. So financial stability and was very key to me. So when I started my business, my first point of contact was my mom. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
I have this vision of this music business. So I said, what can you contribute? My mom was like, we don't have money. My dad's like, we don't have. So if you're
Yes.
depending on us, sorry. So
Yeah.
I came up with this crazy idea. I had this
So,
artist I was
sorry to
working
interject,
with.
but the
Yeah,
love and the support, very
yeah.
important.
Yeah. So I had this crazy idea. Like I had this artist I was working with. He did well, and I was like, since I can get financial support from my parents, probably I take our property and probably loan it to the bank for money.
Wow.
When I asked my mom, my dad, they were like, "Are you kidding me?
If you lost your
Our
mind.
property? Yeah, this is the only thing that we've worked on our whole life to build.
Hmm.
What are you thinking about? And how much I was asking for? I'm asking for 10,000.
Wow.
My mom said, okay, no problem. We can go ahead. But my dad
Wow.
had a second thought. He was like, we're not doing that. The risk is too much. How will
Yes.
you pay that? How will
Yes.
you? There was a lot of question, right?
Yes.
And then
Legitimate
I didn't
concerns for sure.
I didn't get the loan. And fast forward, I lost the loan, and the company were not really productive as the music company wasn't productive as it was because no financing and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
then what I did was that we went under the carpet a little bit.
Hmm.
And like, well, since music in itself, this will require me a lot of investment. Why not I find a better business that will bring a little bit of return? So I will jump into the consultancy business.
Diversify.
Yeah, diversify. That's how I started working in consulting for Orange, one of the biggest GSM here. And I raised
Mm.
some money from there and then started my microfinance. And then
Mm.
before even the microfinance picked up, boom, I launched the manufacturing factory. And now that haven't really picked up, but that has really like it reinforced my
Vision.
strength. But I'm trying to say to you that every donor, even as at the level where I was, I knew a lot
Yes.
of funders, I knew people.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one ever gave me $5,
Yeah.
five
For free.
Liberian
There's
dollars,
no
or
free
five.
lunch. So
Yeah, no,
economists
no
say
free lunch. Nobody gave me anyone. Everyone were always telling me, come back later.
it's
The
tough.
company haven't matured yet. So I'm trying to say to you that if you're waiting for someone to invest in you,
Mm.
I'm sorry. You're not waiting to you're not going to start.
Yes.
You must invest in yourself and you must own your business by yourself.
Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. Only 31% of the people who tune in to watch this podcast, they are subscribed. So I want to encourage you to please subscribe so that this content can reach far and wide. Thank you again, and may the markets be with you.
It's when people see what you're doing, then people are more convinced to
Yes.
invest in you.
Yes.
So never make yourself an option to any investor. Always make yourself a value where they
Yes.
see that there's a value and there's a return. So that's
Yes.
why I say right now, investment is not even a big problem for me because
Yes.
I know the difference between knowing when to go ask an investor for money and
Yes.
knowing how to just build something and show a prototype. So largely to your answer, to your question, I would say no one gives anyone money. The beginning
Yeah.
is always tough. It's
Yes.
always rough. You
Yes.
have to be ready to endure the pain, the suffering, the frustration, the bully, everything. If you don't
Mm.
endure that, then you're not an entrepreneur. If you
That's
don't endure
powerful.
it, then you're not serious. To be serious, for investors to take you serious, for people to know they can trust you with their money, you and disappointment have to make a marriage where
Yes.
you feel comfortable that you can fail. Like you can
Yes.
say, yes, it's okay for me to fail. It's okay to fail, but not that okay is not saying I will not try again, but it's okay, I will fail. But yes, I'm going to try again and I'm going to move forward the next one. So that for me, that's how I really see it, Isaac.
You know, when you are narrating your story, it's 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 very relatable to me. I was born in Zimbabwe, as you know, and it was from a small community. My parents worked very hard, but financially, they didn't have much. If even if I wanted to start, like businesses or even to go to university, it was a struggle. But through the pain, through the challenges that I faced, I came out of those challenges stronger. I remember, Beyan, I read this story. My dad, he would work at the Zimbabwe trade fair, and he would bring me a lot of, material magazines to read. So I saw this story of this young Canadian young lady, I think about uh, 12, 15 years, and she was starting a small business, and she acted adult like. So that's when I started to know like there's a country called Canada, right? So I became very curious. It was in Montreal, here in Canada. So it sparked this curiosity in me. So I was like, this situation, I have to work hard. So I went to school, did a bachelor's degree in economics, but even after that, I couldn't find um, a good paying job, even after graduating. So I married the pain. I endured through it, but I told myself that it was not enough for me. Then I started applying for scholarships. To cut a long story short, I then immigrated to Canada. And one thing that I also realized through my entrepreneurial journey, I have gone through what you have gone through and, tried pitching for funding from donors. And one thing that I later realized was that I think it's a good idea for me to work hard to have my financial resources so that that way I can give back to the community. Even if I then reach out to people, I will demonstrate that with 20,000, 5,000. This is what
Yes,
I've accomplished. So
yes,
if you partner with me, not give me rather, then this could be your potential return, risk and stuff like that. People always gravitate towards a return on investment. That is good. If you just keep on begging and not have a sustainable strategy, even if you are asking for funding, my experience is that, I mean, people want mostly return on investment. Even the non-profit that you do, there has to be value because you have operational costs, you have to pay salaries. So it's your day to day. Anyways, I just thought I would just share because I'm very relatable to your story, not only as someone who was born in Zimbabwe, right? But these are real struggles. And if someone is listening to this podcast, I think what I'm learning from Beyan's story is that you have to be married to pain. You have
Yeah.
to have a vision, longer term vision, you know, and then um, make sure that you start implementing gradually, and disappointments is part of the journey. So now,
Yes.
tell me a little bit more about, some of the challenges that you face now, in apart from the financing. You have built, multiple businesses. What are the maybe you say maybe the top two challenges that you have faced as an entrepreneur, and how you have managed to navigate through those apart from funding?
Well, sometimes again, because entrepreneurship is a funny sector and very interesting one. I won't say funny, like very interesting sector, I would say,
Yeah.
because when we always have crazy ideas in sectors that we are now masters. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
crazy.
yes.
Like you see someone who is not a science student,
Yeah.
have never read anything science related, but has this crazy idea
Yes.
to make great impact in the science sector.
Yes.
And we've seen people who are science students come up with crazy, crazy art products that really transform how the world is now.
Yes.
So sometimes resources and the skill set are also challenges that I have really encountered. Like
Mm,
when I started the microfinance, I have no zero background in
mm,
finance. I have a bit of accounting, bookkeeping knowledge because I serve as an executive for
mhm.
over 6 years. So obviously, I got to know how my books are working. But
Yes.
really in-depth financial knowledge and was zero.
Mhm.
So I really struggle with that, and that's I have to really like say that look, we're not ready for the app yet. The app, we're not ready for the app. Let's do it manually so that
Mm,
I learn the business, I learn the financial, I learn what it means to lend money, I know what it means to return, to expect a
yes.
return. I know what it means when you are foreclosing a loan, what you
Yes.
need to look out for to foreclose the loan.
Yes.
Learn those small terminology, and also understand what is called a worthy borrower and who to
Yes.
borrow your money to. How do you
Yes.
use the human center approach to determine if this person is credit
Yeah.
worthy or not? How do you
Hmm.
also use data and statistics to back your borrowing? So
Hmm.
all those things are things that both of it, you don't just read it in a book, right? You have to
Yeah.
read, you have to
Yes.
also listen to people. So
Yes.
when I started the business first, I had to first of all seek advice from some people at the central bank.
Advisors.
I mean, they're like, yo, don't do it this way. Do it this way. If you do like this, you lose. If you create this loan stem, you do. Obviously, we are not really at a big loan place, but
Yeah.
at least I can tell you that I have so much understanding, a little much understanding in the loan business. So I was advised by a lot of people, don't do this, do this. And by the help of one of my mentors, John Freeman, he have really helped me to understand it. Sometimes he pushed me back here and there. So those things really help also strengthen my skill. And through that, I was able to overcome some of the simple barriers in the business. And then I felt like, oh, since I don't have a financial background, I sit as a CEO. You cannot be a CEO, you don't understand the business. So I decided to bring an external auditor in who
Yes.
could help me, explain things to me, validate some of my analysis, and really be able to make sure that we're not making any mistakes. So human resource is very important, and that was one of the things we're struggling with. But at least now we're able to outsource. We have to get people on board to help.
Yes.
But first and foremost step is you have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready to learn. I would say get ready to unlearn, to
Yes.
learn,
Yes.
relearn. So those are things that you have to be ready for.
That's a powerful statement. The other time I went to Oxford University for a conference, and I heard that term, you have to learn and learn and relearn. If you are rigid and you say, "Oh, I know everything," you can't know everything. That's not entirely true. And I like that, you have this desire to bring more people, even smarter people around you, and maybe subject matter experts. I'm sure it will take you very far. Now,
Yeah.
from this experience, I want us to transition gears now to in other spaces. Are there other opportunities that you see across the African continent apart from agriculture or even the commodity markets? Because also, um, like, the stock market opportunities, are there some, opportunities there? Because one thing that I'm learning, at least 51% of the money that is in the US stock market, for example, I like, trading at the stock market and investing in the US and Canada, is money that is from the richest, people. So one thing that I'm learning as well is that if you wanna build wealth, you have to learn from people who are successful. So the stock market is one vehicle. So I'm curious though, across the continent or even also in Liberia, do you see some opportunities in some sectors apart from the agriculture sector? And what are those sectors, if any?
Yeah, so thank you for this opportunity, Isaac. Like,
Yes.
I've been waiting for you to ask me this question actually.
No
Why?
problem.
Because I am a big fan of asking and inviting everyone to come to Liberia. If you're
Yes.
listening and watching this
Yeah.
podcast, whether
Yeah.
you're listening to it via audio or and hopefully probably you can try to get an audio version of this podcast and share with me as well.
Sure.
But I want to say whether you're listening to it or you're watching it, please come to Liberia. Liberia is
Yes.
a new gold mine. There's so much opportunities here. You
Hmm.
can actually just Google visit, enjoy, visit to Liberia,
Hmm.
and or you can go to the National Investment Commission of Liberia. I can share
Hmm.
those links with you, Isaac,
Sure.
so that you can,
Put
include
on
it
the
as
comments.
yeah, on the
No
comments so that people
problem.
can look at it. Like you guys need to come. There's so much here. The
And to
tourism
see
sector is
on your own.
emerging. The tourism sector is so virgin, and there's so much opportunity. There's a lot of green land here, a
Hmm.
lot of resorts possibility here, a lot of great area for resorts for building hotels. You just need to name it. So, and the great thing is our president is very obsessed about the tourism sector, the
Hmm.
creative and the tourism sector. So please visit Liberia, see what's here, see how we all can partner together. And please
Hmm.
don't forget to contact me in case you want to
Yes.
be able to do any business in Liberia so that we can connect you
That's
with the
very
right people
important. Hmm.
and be the bridge to make sure these things are working. And there's also the creative industry. Liberia creative sector is growing and is getting bigger.
Hmm.
If you are a record label, you are an investor that's looking to invest in music, into content creator creation, into the larger creative sector, please feel free. Even is your partner. We are here. We're waiting to support you. We already have history working with MTN, with
Hmm.
music in Africa, and now we will be working with AWOL Music. So feel free and be part of some of the partners that we work with to build our creative sector. Again, contact me for more opportunities. There's a
Yes.
lot more opportunities in Liberia that I can provide everything here, but I would
Yes.
say to you, the real estate sector, the housing sector, the tourist sector, the creative industry, the mining, those who are interested in gold and diamond,
Hmm.
please research Liberia. You know that we contribute a huge part. And finally,
Hmm.
agriculture.
Yeah.
Agriculture, there's a
Yeah.
lot of opportunity here. Huge land, vast number of land here for you. So
Yes.
just let us know what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
We have a government that is obsessed about development, and we always have a say in Liberia. We say, I think let's think Liberia, build Liberia. So we're
Mm.
thinking Liberia and we're building Liberia. So,
That's.
join us.
Hmm.
Let's reimagine Liberia and let's help build Liberia.
Yeah.
If you're not talking to the right person, they will
Yeah.
not give you the right advice. So they
Yes.
might lead you into a mess, a complete mess. So
And you mentioned something that is important, and that sometimes when you are considering investing in a country that you don't understand, it's important to have a contact person because sometimes people can get scammed, right? And also working with, officials like you mentioned, right? So are there any risks? Because my understanding of investing, sometimes it comes with risk. And one of those things that without being political, a lot of people, they have this perception that, there's political instability in some African countries, not necessarily in your country. So what are some of the risks that you see in the investment space?
So here, for example, as you know, Isaac,
Yes.
generally when you want to invest,
Mm.
if you're not talking to the right person, they will
Yeah.
not give you the right advice. So they
Yes.
might lead you into a mess, a complete mess. So that is
Yes.
not unique to Liberia or unique to Africa in general.
Yes, for
It's
sure.
everywhere. Even in the US, you go through the wrong person, you get
Yeah.
messed up.
Yes.
So I would say there are risks, but again, I can say that I can ask you this same question. Does the government have, it's more like a rhetorical question. Does the
Yes.
government have the willpower? Is there the
Mm.
political will for investment? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
100% yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, are we building the atmosphere for investment? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are we open to supporting investors,
Mm-hmm.
maximize profit, and we also benefit as a country? Yes. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
looking into any sector, just let me know. We can be able to put you in touch with the right people so that
Mm-hmm.
you talk to the right people, make the right connections and be able to come here and make your investment. You can make your own analysis, but in terms of war,
Due
we are
diligence.
zero.
Yeah.
As you know, we just had one of the best and peaceful elections in the entire African continent. Our
Congratulations.
elections now, yeah, thank you. Our elections now is being modeled as a way to host a free, fair, and transparent elections across the region. So we have had where an incumbent president lost and peacefully transition power. So we've also seen the
That's
new
lovely.
president,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the new president chasing corrupt people and establishing war and economic crime code to be able to hold people accountable for things that they've done in the past. So there's a lot of leadership, a lot of governance, right,
Mm-hmm.
being exercised. So I can say to you that we're a serious country and we're
Mm-hmm.
ready for investment. Again, don't forget, every time you think about Liberia, we are all concerned about think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. And
This
that's what we
is
believe. Yeah.
this is powerful, and probably maybe we'll have a conversation about some personally about opportunities. Who knows? Maybe I will be able to visit and see some of those opportunities. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to share anything that you wanna share as we get to the end of the podcast. Is there anything that you are burning to share about your experiences, in this journey?
Well, I would say that once again, thank you, Isaac. Great opportunity, great platform, and all those who are watching. Again, I'm not a subject matter expert. I'm just a young entrepreneur obsessed about Africa development and
Yes.
obsessed about how we can, rewrite the narrative. People say you must go to the US. Look, no crap to our brothers and sisters that have gone abroad, like
Yes.
Isaac and the rest of the folks, and
Sure.
trying to support the continent back way. But
Yes.
we are also here trying to say that there can
Yes.
be better life here. You
Yes.
can have a better life in Liberia. You can have an office like this in
Yes.
Liberia, and
Yes.
you can be able to struggle and fight and make sure that the
Yeah.
same comfortability that you experience in the US, in
Yeah.
Canada, in everywhere, you can experience the same thing in Liberia or in Africa, any part of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would tell you that no countries was built by aliens.
Yes.
The great America was built on the back of slaves, on the back of how you call it, immigrants, on the
Yes.
back of people,
Yes.
traditional, or how do we call them, historically Black people,
Yes.
and was built on the back of hardworking Americans.
Yes.
So those people are not enjoying what America is today. We
Yes.
are the one that is saying the glorious America. We're the
Yes.
one that is saying the greatest America.
Yes.
Those people didn't have their time in their life. They didn't see anything in their lifetime that resemble what America is. We're the
Yes.
ones seeing all of those things. So when you think about how frustrated you are as an African about your country,
Mm-hmm.
always ask yourself, if you don't do anything and we all
Mm.
fly away and leave, and we
Yes.
don't even we leave the continent and don't even think about taking the resources and knowledge and putting it back to the continent. We live our separate life. Think about what happens. Who you think that's going to come there and do the same thing? Don't you think that people will do the same thing that you've done? by saying that we can't stay here, we need to move because life is not favorable for us.
Yeah.
So I tell people in Liberia that it's never easy, but
Yes.
we must be the sacrificial lamb. We must be the people that bend our back
Yes.
to straighten this country, build this nation, so that when our children, our generation to come, when they come, they will have a Liberia that people will say is one of the most prosperous nation, is one of the country in Africa that is so good. I want to go invest there because there were forefathers like us that laid that foundation that said that no matter what we're getting now, we're willing to go through the pain and the torment to make sure that our kids, our generation to come, benefit. So it's a message for anyone watching that
Yes.
you feel that you've lost interest in Africa, you've lost interest in your country. Don't never say there's no opportunity here. Don't never say our government are so corrupt that we can't do anything. No, there's something to do. Where
Yes.
you are running to go, whatever country you are running to go, there
Yeah.
was a time in their life that their government even have did not even have what it takes to do what they're doing now.
Yeah.
But they stood by their country and made it what it is today that you see as an attraction.
Yes.
So it's just a message to other African young people. And please feel free to also share your feedback and comment about everything we've discussed in the
Yes.
comment section. We are not experts, but we're
Yes.
just a bunch of young entrepreneurs trying to
Yeah.
share information and our own insight about how things are on the continent.
And that's such a powerful closing remark because I think at the end of the day, we can all, contribute something, right? I know if you look at the gross domestic product for Zimbabwe, a lot of the money that, comes into the countries comes from, remittances from the Zimbabweans in the diaspora. I'm sure it's true for most other African, countries and even other parts of the world, including Asia. So, it's very, very important that you do something about it. And I look forward, hopefully, to visiting you in Liberia and, seeing some of the wonderful work that you are doing. And to the audience, thank you so much for tuning in to this podcast. And I will put contact information for Beyan here so that if you want to contact him, you can do so. And if you have any questions, feel free to share your thoughts on this podcast. And may the markets be with you. I will see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.